Hey guys, seriously long time no see. I think it's been about 2 years, but it's really cool to upload something again, even though it's not really under how I thought it would be. This is an extension of my Instagram, which is actually called Animatic Fever, one word. I got that. I managed to get that handle, which is super cool. I've been using it for about a year now, and mainly as a platform to expand my horizons as an artist or whatever. So been doing a lot of art challenges like Inktober, sort of adjacent things like DC-tober for a different DC character drawing a day, Marvember, same deal, and so on and so forth. So I decided I wanted to do one for Mortal Kombat, and it has sort of evolved into its own thing. Kombat-tober is what we're calling it. And it's less of a challenge of drawing a character a day and more of me imposing the challenge of creating an adult timeline that is concurrent to the original Mortal Kombat timeline without it fucking with anything. Kind of like in a Saga of the Swamp Thing or any Vertigo comic from like the 80s or 90s kind of a way. Like, yeah, all this other shit happened, but this also technically could have happened at the same time, so here it is. I did a post a little while ago that was about all the different film homages that I've had in my, projects or whatever. And, if he was alive, I do think Orson Welles would have probably beat the shit out of me for a lot of things. But in particular, his whole rule about, never watch a movie ever. You've got to be completely original. And if you let anything influence you, you're a cuck is like insane. I couldn't even imagine. And there's no way that he did it. So... And, I just finished Demons by Dostoevsky, and he's quoting Gogol like every 5 minutes, and that's his favorite author. So I don't really, if the greatest writer that ever lived can do it, then I think I'm fine to show you guys, behind the curtain, sort of what either intentionally or unintentionally, wanted or unwanted, sort of inspired my works. But this is the Mortal Kombat edition, and it is for all the different film homages or inspirations in my series of Scorpion Quick Animatics, which you can find on the Animatic Fever Instagram, guest starring the voice talents of the Matthew Davis and the Montana Hayden. Sorry, the road has kind of gotten ridiculously bumpy, and I apologize. I'm having to do this at the same time as driving home from something just to get it done. I have to pat my head and rub my belly a lot to be sure that I get things completed. But we're going to start with intentional homages and or inspirations. First and foremost, it's all over it. De Palma is in there, but it's not because... I think that his work is, a foundational stepping stone for, Hitchcock-type shit or whatever. Okay, good. We're back on a more smooth area. But really, he always had a lot of issues where, a lot of outspoken groups would be like, dude, your violence in your movies is ridiculous, especially against women. So I just sort of thought that using him as the fictitious, director of the Mortal Kombat biopic was very fitting. And later on, I have some stuff I kind of want to do with Johnny Cage that involves Oliver Stone. So keep that in mind in the future. Also intentional. So these two are probably the big ones, and these are less of an homage and more of an inspiration, or, however you want to say they were intentional. 2 Hour Loves, which I actually watched not long ago after I finished Sindel Bloodflowers, because I wanted to see oh hell, I forget her name, but the main actress in that, I wanted to see, her chops or whatever, because I said she'd be a good Sindel, and I mean, I was right. But it's the first Pelot movie I've seen, and I haven't actually seen any other ones, and I was floored and deeply disturbed by the use of actual violence in that movie. It's a domestic piece. It is about domestic violence in a household, and I don't know. I mean, yes, Pelot's methods for getting that were absolutely insane. I mean, I think I said a couple of months ago that people say he's like Kubrick, like on crack or whatever, and like different but similar. I mean, I couldn't imagine being on that set. It looks genuinely horrifying. But it stuck with me, and I had been thinking for a long time about how I wanted to do a story with a Mortal Kombat character who is trying to assimilate to normal society where, violence isn't permitted, and how it would negatively affect him and his or her and their surroundings. And originally, I don't know why, I was kind of thinking of Liu Kang. Maybe the legacy story kind of was in the back of my mind, but it became Scorpion, actually, because I had just watched To Our Loves, and I was playing Armageddon to get those pictures of all the different Creative Fighter versions of my versions of Shao and Sindel, and I was playing a Scorpion to rack in coins to do that, and Tanya popped up, and I was fighting her, and, me and my brother Reed have always said that, she's got to be related to Scorpion somehow. I mean, the colors, the eyes, I mean, hell, she could even be, his wife that died, resurrected, or, whatever bullshit. And, I was fighting her, and I was just kind of like, I bet you Scorpion would be a wife beater if he really existed in the real world. And Reed didn't disagree with me. And that pretty much cemented it. Like, I was just like, all right, this is the story. It makes perfect sense. It adds a terribly dramatic irony to, the death of his family and everything else. And so I just really wanted to do it. Let's see. Then there's Redbeard, which, is probably my favorite Kurosawa movie. There's a bit in there where this woman who is, emotionally detached or immature or whatever you want to call her, basically decides that she wants to leave this marriage that she is in, because she's also in another marriage that she hasn't told her significant other about. So there's an earthquake, and she uses it to basically fake her death and leave him. And then, he by chance bumps into her one day with she has like a newborn baby and all this stuff. And that I totally took inspiration from, because I was just floored by the honesty of that story. I mean, for a 60s movie, man, it's crazy. Anyway, let me think. Unintentional. All right. And these two are kind of givens because, to quote Death Cab for Cutie, for whatever reason, they've haunted me all my life. We'll go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, A Clockwork Orange. It is almost impossible to do a story about ultimate evil, and characters who... at the end of the day, they truly are characters and have characterizations, and they're inflated. I mean, they're Mortal Kombat characters. There's no way to get around that. And who really created the iconic understanding of the almost caricatured, inflated aesthetics of evil than Kubrick for that movie? I'm sitting there, I'm drawing Quan Chi in his little, lair, and I'm thinking to myself, how can I make this not look like the Kurova milk bar? I did my best, but fuck, I mean, I guess my best wasn't good enough. And then this was a little bit more intentional. like, I'll say actually it was certainly intentional. The stipulations of Quan Chi's curse not allowing Scorpion to attack Tanya anymore was directly inspired by the Ludovico technique. I mean, I can't dismiss that. It has to have been. And, yeah, I mean, that to me is probably my favorite part of that movie anyway. Just the idea of something prohibiting an impenitent person to make them impenitent is so awful and human. And it's like one of those things that's just so fucking iconic that to me it's like the fucking modernist version of like the Jekyll and Hyde story in a way. Like obviously they're not the same, but they carry like the same significance for me, I would say. And then, you know, of course it was a comic first, but then it became the motion comic, and I count that as a series, and obviously that's not a movie, but whatever. Watchmen, the motion comic, Watchmen. I mean, I would sit down, guys, I would draw a picture, I would look at it and think, well, goddamn if it's not Dave Gibbons, you know? And I mean, there's no way to get around that. I mean, I basically taught myself how to draw through him and, like, you know, Bruce Timm, who, you know, you can always see those genetics too, but, like, that fucking still or image of Scorpion, you know, putting out the cigarette on his head and or like the smoke coming up is like identical, and I didn't even mean for it to be of, like, to Dr. Manhattan burning that symbol on his head. You know, and then like there's a bajillion other examples, and I'll put the pictures here, but like both of those properties, you know, were like foundational for me in like high school, and my brain was still developing, and I just think that it's really hard to get around inspirations like that. Like they really have fucking stuck with you on a fucking subconscious genetic level, you know. Oh shit. Yeah, well, then there's one other one that was deliberate, and I guess I can just edit this or whatever, but Big Trouble in Little China. I finally got around to watching that when I knew that I was going to do this challenge, because I wanted to see the inspiration for Mortal Kombat to sort of pay tribute to it in return, and it has been very enjoyable. The movie is tremendously racist and dated, but it's very interesting to kind of take those genetics and re-extrapolate them into something new. I mean, I think that movie is a very good and creative movie, and I think that it even, you know, kind of tries to shed some light on some ideas that, you know, are a little bit provocative, but they sort of steered away. Like, I don't know, I feel like I can take the stuff from that movie that was sort of shaded and, you know, shed some light onto it for a different experience. So that was an intentional one. And then there were two references that were deliberate, but they were really just references, and that was Amateur, and I used the Japanese poster for that because I fucking love that movie. I know there are other Hal Hartley movies that would have been contemporaneous to 1991, but Amateur is my favorite. And fuck, you know, it's an alternate reality where, you know, magic ninjas exist, so Sugma. And then Quan Chi's 80s photograph, I sort of based on Henry Husson or however you say it in Belle de Jour, the movie. He's played by Michael Piccoli or Michael Piccoli. I don't know how to pronounce anything, but yeah, that was a reference to that. And it's funny, I'm actually reading Joseph Kessel's Belle de Jour right now, like the book that the Buñuel and Carrier one is based on, and it's been very interesting. You want to talk about, you know, ahead of its time for 1928? They're doing some crazy shit in that book. And I mean, I started reading it after I finished drawing everything for Scorpion, but I just figured I'd mention it. And yeah, I mean, beyond that, just stay tuned. I'm thinking about actually taking all of the reels and like parts of these stories and just making them into full YouTube videos for each character. Like, you know, you'd get Scorpion, and it would be all 3 parts that we did. Coming up, drumroll surprise, if you have made it this far, is Cabal. So I'm actually releasing his first one on the 4th of July, deliberately, and you will see why. And that's exciting. And, you know, I have a lot of other ideas, and I'm going to try to, you know, hammer them all out best I can, and I'm very excited about it. There really is something, and it comes from all that Alan Moore worship, to going back and, you know, deconstructing things from your childhood, or, you know, preteens, whatever, and making them into something more substantial that I love. So, and I love you guys for all the support that you give, however big, however little, it's all big enough for me, and I couldn't be more happy about, you know, the views, the support, the likes that I get, the subscriptions, whatever. Like, it's just about spreading the art, man, and that's really what I want to do. So, love y'all. Stay tuned for more. Grant Perry is back in action, and be sure to check out Animatic Fever on Instagram. I got that handle, and I'm very happy about it. And see some of these reels. So, have a great night.